Before I dive into the story, let me ask you something. What would you do if your career came to a screeching halt because of a single failed drug test, even if you insisted you never meant to cheat? That's exactly the situation facing PGA Tour pro Trey Mullinax after the tour announced a 6-month suspension for an anti-doping violation. The decision has sent shockwaves through the golf world and raised fresh questions about how strict the PGA Tour's anti-doping program really is. So what exactly happened? What substance was involved? Did Mullinax knowingly break the rules? And what does this mean for his future on the PGA Tour? Let's break it all down. The PGA Tour confirmed that Trey Mullinax has been suspended for 6 months after violating the tour's anti-doping program. The suspension takes effect immediately, meaning Mullinax will miss a significant portion of the season while serving his ban. Unlike many controversies in golf that revolve around rules, disputes, or player conduct, this one involves one of the most serious issues in professional sport: anti-doping. Whenever a player receives a suspension of this nature, speculation spreads quickly. Fans immediately wonder whether performance-enhancing drugs were involved or whether there was an attempt to gain an unfair advantage. But the reality can sometimes be more complicated. According to information released by the PGA Tour, Mullinax tested positive for a prohibited substance that appears on the World Anti-Doping Agency's banned list. The PGA Tour follows strict anti-doping policies, and players are responsible for everything that enters their bodies, regardless of whether the substance came from medication, supplements, or another source. This principle is known as strict liability. In simple terms, even if a player accidentally consumes a banned substance, they can still face disciplinary action. That rule exists to protect the integrity of professional competition. Following the announcement, attention quickly turned to Mullinax's response. Rather than denying the test, he accepted responsibility and acknowledged the violation. He explained that the prohibited substance entered his system unintentionally through medication used while recovering from a medical issue. Mullinax stated that he never intended to gain a competitive advantage and expressed disappointment that the mistake resulted in such a lengthy suspension. His statement also included an apology to fans, sponsors, fellow competitors, and the PGA Tour. Although some fans sympathized with his explanation, others argued that professional athletes have a responsibility to carefully verify every medication and supplement they take. That's why anti-doping cases often divide opinion. Some believe intent should matter. Others argue that the rules must remain absolute to ensure fairness for every competitor. For Mullinax personally, the consequences are enormous. 6 months away from competitive golf means missing valuable opportunities to earn prize money, FedExCup points, and world ranking points. It also makes it much harder to maintain competitive form. Returning after a long absence is never easy. Professional golf is one of the most competitive sports in the world, and even a few months away can dramatically affect a player's confidence and performance. Financially, the suspension could also prove costly. Players earn the majority of their income by competing. Without tournament appearances, those earnings disappear. Depending on sponsorship agreements, endorsements may also be affected, particularly if contracts contain clauses related to conduct or anti-doping violations. While every sponsorship agreement is different, suspensions can have consequences beyond the golf course. This incident also serves as a reminder of how comprehensive the PGA Tour's anti-doping program has become. Players can be tested both during tournaments and outside competition. Samples are analyzed according to internationally recognized standards, and athletes are expected to remain compliant at all times. Even common medications or supplements can create problems if they contain ingredients listed as prohibited. That's why many professionals have medical teams dedicated to checking every product before it is used. For golf fans, the case is another reminder that anti-doping is no longer an issue limited to sports like cycling, athletics, or weightlifting. Golf has steadily strengthened its testing program over the years to maintain public confidence in the game's integrity. While positive tests remain relatively uncommon compared with many other sports, the PGA Tour has consistently shown that violations will result in meaningful penalties. As for Mullinax, the focus now shifts toward rehabilitation and his eventual return. Many players have successfully rebuilt their careers after serving suspensions. Whether Mullinax can do the same will depend on how he performs once he becomes eligible again. He'll have to regain competitive rhythm, rebuild momentum, and prove that this episode does not define the remainder of his career. The story also raises a broader question for the golf community. Should anti-doping rules remain based on strict liability, where athletes are responsible regardless of intent, or should governing bodies place greater emphasis on whether a player deliberately attempted to cheat? It's a debate that will likely continue long after Mullenax's suspension ends. What do you think? Did the PGA Tour make the right decision with a 6-month suspension? Or should accidental violations be treated differently from intentional doping? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this update and want more breaking golf news, major controversies, and behind-the-scenes stories from the PGA Tour, Live Golf, and the biggest names in the sport, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.